I'm going to maintain this old Peerless cast iron gas chimney vented boiler, natural draft. I shut off the gas, I shut off the power, and I'm going to disconnect the pilot tube, and I'm going to disconnect the thermocouple. That's a 7/16 wrench, and that's a 3/8 wrench. And then I'm going to pull all of these clips. I'm trying to not take this entirely apart. I could break the union, and I could undo this nip, and I could take this right off. But I'd like to see if I could just take these out without having to take all that apart. And then I'll show you again. So with these, I just take something like this little flathead. Okay, it's a thermostat screwdriver. And I just pop them off. Just don't lose them. All right, so I popped all of those out. And I just take it out, okay? So usually these would be like nasty and corroded, but these are pretty clean. Those are looking pretty good just as they are. I have cleaned them, I think like a year or two ago. But I typically just take a brush of some sort, okay? And I clean them like this. And I just wipe these out really well. I do it with 2 hands, holding the phone right now, but otherwise I'd hold it and I'd clean it. And I'm gonna do that after. And I'm gonna take a vacuum and I'm going to clean all of these out just like this, okay? Give them a little tap, get the dust out of them. You can also take a blower and you can blow in, just clean these. If they're all corroded and gone, you're gonna have to buy new ones, put new ones in. But these are in pretty good shape. So I just take out all of these, inspect each one. Those ones don't matter where they go. If you mix them up, that's not a big deal. It's the one with the pilot assembly igniter that matters. Yeah, so all these look pretty darn good. I'll clean them anyway. But it's this guy right here that you're gonna have to remember where it went, put it back where it went, okay? And then that's why you need to disconnect the pilot tube itself, and then disconnect the thermocouple also, okay? If you're a homeowner trying to do this, I really recommend you hiring a professional with a gas license, because this is gas, and if I was you, I wouldn't mess with it. It's not worth it. Even though it might seem simple, I just wouldn't do it. So I also had this paint marker. Mine is about either frozen or out of paint, but it was enough to just be able to mark which one that went to. A lot of times they have a sticker that'll tell you which one that went to, but that's okay. That's a thing to do. So once all the burners are out, I vacuum the floor of this in here. I try to get the vacuum on these orifices and just clean out all these orifices. Just try to get all the dust and debris out of this area, because this draws in a lot of air and a lot of dust as it's burning. It's using a lot of oxygen. So you collect a lot of stuff in here. But those are all clean. Now I've taken this out, and I'm going to replace the thermocouple. Since it's been a couple of years since I've been here, it's a good preventative thing to do since you're here already, and thermocouples are not very expensive, but the service call if you don't do one is a much more of a nuisance over that when you're already here now. This is our new 24-inch Honeywell universal thermocouple. Gonna unwind this brass adapter that's already in here. That's gonna come out, and we're gonna put the one that came with the new thermocouple in. And now I have shoved the new thermocouple through it, and it is now where those, see the notches, there's notches right there. It grabs that thermocouple so it doesn't slip back out. That's back up in there, and that sits up in that tab, sits on that rail up in there. Okay, so my thermocouple is now tied back on, and the pilot tube is back on as well. Make sure these are tightened down nice and snug, so that, especially this one, don't leak. And then that one, you don't over tighten it, but that it's nice and snug as well. So an important step is to check your incoming gas pressure. This is the incoming side, that's natural gas. We should be around 3.5 inches. I'm sorry, that would be your manifold pressure, should be around 3.5 inches. This is your incoming gas pressure. This is what this is at. This is standing at about 9.3. That is plenty of pressure for the natural gas side. That is actually, for me, on the higher side for what I usually see. Now that is your manifold tap looking around 3.5 inches of water column. You can also tap here. It's just harder to get to. So, but I just prefer to hit there, 7/16 wrench. First things first, I'm going to relight the pilot on this one. There is no spark igniter. So you gotta put it onto the pilot side of the valve and hold down your red button, and then take the lighter. As you can hear, the gas is now flowing through. Take the lighter and start striking the pilot down there until it lights. And just like that, it is lit. And we hold that for, I would say, 30 to a minute, up to a minute, usually less, and then you can let go. Should take a lot less than that. So up to 30 seconds. Sometimes you have to hold it longer, but it is a new thermocouple, so it should be pretty quick. There, that was about 20 to 30 seconds, and it's on its own now. And now I'm going to turn the gas valve back into the on position. I zeroed my meter. Gas valve is now into the on position. Meter is zeroed. And I'm going to flip on the switch and let it roar. Okay, 3.5. And that was just turning that back into the, hard to see it, but there's an off, there's an on, and then there's a pilot. That's a three-way switch on there. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm fine with that. But that's it for a basic burner clean on a atmospheric gas boiler. You can, if you wanted to, like I said, disassemble everything entirely, but I did not need to. And plus I have done this pretty much year after year. You could pull the flue and check it, but this B vent, I really don't want to take that apart. I've done the water side. I know that's been good. There hasn't been any circulator heating issues. Everything they said seems fine there. Water pressure seems okay from what I could tell. The gauge is a little bit off. The damper, I heard it close and open. And yeah, the boiler seems to be functioning pretty good for a older cast iron, hot water, natural gas fired atmospheric boiler, heating boiler, which does hot water as well with the Superstore indirect tank. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this helped.